Next up at UFC Charlotte, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Anthony Smith taking on Johnny Walker. Anthony Smith, 36-17 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Ankalaev. He's taking on Johnny Walker, 20-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 2-fight win streak. And what's so impressive about that win streak, or what's nice about that win streak, is if you remember, Johnny Walker was like a killer. Came into the division. Dude, 6'6", huge for light heavyweight. Had a couple of really nice high-quality wins. Then started to, get a little adversity there. Then went to SBG Ireland, the gym that Connor trains at, and then his career took a nosedive. All of a sudden, Johnny Walker's getting put out. Johnny Walker's losing decisions to Thiago Santos, where he's just staring at his feet. And it's just like, oh boy, that gym ruined this guy. Like, ruined him.
He's still there, I think.
Well, and then he found his footing. I don't know if they made adjustments or he did or what, right? But now he's like back to his old self. He was a wild guy that would do whatever. And I think what SPG did is they tried to tighten him up. They tried to be too technical. And eventually, like, you are just who you are, and you have to work with that skill set with you're comfortable with. You're not just going to...
guys. There's nothing more important than just being true to yourself.
You're not going to change this dude's style completely after 20 professional fights, but lately he has been himself again. He's taking chances. He's getting a little wild, but still cleaned it up and is still coming forward and being a little more technical about it. He is an unorthodox guy. He's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And that struggle bus was like late 2021, early 2022. But since then, he's getting these wins together. He's coming forward while remaining creative. And he's on a nice little 2-fight first-round stoppage streak. But he's taking on Anthony Smith. That's not an easy outing for anybody. He's a pretty well-rounded striker. He's got fantastic hands, solid kicks. He's also a solid grappler as well. He submitted Ryan Spann, Devin Clark, even Alexander Gustafsson. His wrestling kind of sucks, though. Low 27% takedown accuracy, 48% takedown defense. So the submissions are really if you're sort of engaging that game from him. But he's tough as nails. We'll say this every single time we break him down. Glover Teixeira knocked his teeth out of his face. He picked him up off the mat, handed him to the referee, and then continued to take his beating. While Glover apologized to him or punched him in the face. So it was that was one of the craziest fights. And that was a COVID fight, too. That fight is a little bit off topic. That fight is what sent Glover to the title fight. His popularity rose because it was during COVID. UFC was the only sport on television, and Glover literally knocked his teeth out of his face, was apologized, and so people loved him after that. So anyway, Anthony Smith, dumb tough, technical striker, and I totally understand the line flip. Anthony Smith opened at a plus 135 underdog, has now become the favorite, very, very slight favorite here. I get it. He's the more experienced guy. He's got the better resume. He's certainly absolutely tough as hell. Not a guy that you're just going to get out of there whenever you want to. That does make this a little tricky. If this was 5 rounds, I would probably pick Anthony Smith. But it's 3 rounds, so I'm going to go Johnny Walker. I think Johnny Walker's creativity, if he's going to come forward, throw wild, spin, we know he can hang tough. Johnny Walker has actual solid takedowns if he ever wants to use them. So I like Johnny Walker to get this done, but the bet's going to be over 1.5 because Anthony Smith is very, very tough. Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith's not put you out early kind of guy. So I think the over 1.5 is the bet here. I think I have placed that bet as well and thrown that up there for premium members. Picks Johnny Walker, but I think the smarter money's on the over round instead. What do you think, Jakey?
Personally, I would stay away from that because there's just so many question marks with Johnny Walker. I believe I don't care who Johnny Walker fights. I don't care if it's John Jones. I don't care if it's Ryan Hall. I don't care if it's Amanda Hebos, Tabitha Ricci, Mackenzie Dern, Gloria DePaula. I don't care who it is. I believe that he should be a pick'em in every single fight because you just don't know what's going to happen to a Johnny Walker fight. You literally have no idea. And the issue is in his last 2 fights, he looked great in his last 2 fights, but he really didn't have any adversity in those fights. Kutalaba took him down. He reversed the position. He chokes him out. His chin was not tested. Paul Craig, tried to grab his leg. He knocks him out. His chin was not tested. So we really haven't seen Johnny Walker's chin tested since he was knocked out, 3 fights ago. But in this fight, it comes down to when I watch Anthony Smith, and I like Anthony Smith. I actually picked Anthony Smith this is going to sound even. I mean, I'm going to lose a lot of credibility here. I picked Anthony Smith against John Jones in that title fight because I believe he is such a high IQ guy and he can figure out fights and he is very well rounded everywhere. He's a very dangerous guy on the ground. He's got good boxing. As you mentioned, he is tough as shit. But when I watch Anthony Smith fight, it feels like everything he's doing, he's thinking. Everything like you saw that Ankalaev fight, and I know that he blew out his ankle, and that's why he lost that fight. But even early on, it feels like he's just waiting, and he's thinking, and he's thinking, and he's thinking. It's like, what do I do now? Okay, he's doing this, he's doing that. Where Johnny Walker, as you mentioned, is just everything he does. He's just doing it. He's just in there flowing. He's just in there reacting, and he just does stuff. And in that fight, I think that's what it comes down to. Johnny Walker's going to be in there free flowing, and Anthony Smith is just going to be waiting too much. Okay, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He can't determine what Johnny Walker is going to do because Johnny Walker doesn't know what he's doing. There's no reads to make on Johnny Walker. You can't, okay, he's throwing this, now he's going to throw this. You can't because Johnny Walker will just do wild shit. So when you're sitting there trying to make reads against a guy like Johnny Walker, you're going to tell he's just such a talented, powerful, explosive guy. You're just going to be in trouble before you can make those reads. And I just see how that fight, I see that playing out that way. But if Johnny Walker comes in, does something stupid, Anthony Smith throws a 2 down the pipe and knocks him out, I'm not going to be surprised either. So Johnny Walker's be my pick because I think he is just the more talented fighter of the two. It's a pick him for a reason. This might be one of those, it's a co-main event, a Saturday afternoon, throw $100 on either side and have some fun with it. But this definitely is not a parlay piece for either side or anything crazy like that. It should be a fun fight because Johnny Walker is a fun dude, but he is going to be my pick. But I got all the respect in the world for Anthony, man.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I forgot to mention is Anthony's got that cushy desk job now. He's focusing on his post-fight career, as he should be. He's got that UFC analyst desk job, does a great job breaking down fights, stuff like that. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go ahead and assume what he is or is not doing, but that's his future. So I think he's a little more focused on setting up his post-fight career, while Johnny Walker is just like, this is all I got. I got to come in here and win this fight. And
it sounded like going into that Ankalaev fight that he put everything into that fight. He was in the best shape of his life. He was training. He put on extra weight, and the weight cut was really, really rough for him because he wanted to put on the extra weight to be ready, and that was his big moment to get back in the picture. And then he blows out his ankle. He loses the fight. So how do you really come back when you put everything into a fight, and it doesn't go your way, even though there was an ankle injury? How do you really kind of come back? And then, if he loses this one, there's no more title picture for Anthony Smith. You got to win this one.
No, I agree. It should be a really fun fight, though. It's a solid co-main event. And the fact that even the chat is split and the chat's talking about this is a tough fight to pick, and it is. And fights like this are great because it is tough to pick. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to enjoy it. Credit to both these guys. Should be a lot of fun. DraftKings completely split. I think you do need one of these guys in your DraftKings lineup. So I think you just got to pick your side. If you're on the Anthony Smith side, you can get him at 8,000. You're on Johnny Walker's side. I think 8,200 is a solid price. The finish is probably more likely. Man, I don't know because Anthony Smith is so tough to say more likely on the Johnny Walker side. It's actually, that's why I went the over 1.5, honestly, because Anthony Smith is super tough, and Johnny Walker, you mentioned his chin. But yeah, he went 5 rounds with Thiago Santos. And it's not like Thiago cracked him, but that was a powerful dude that could crack anybody. You going to throw one of them in your DraftKings lineup, or are you just going to leave it?
I'll be honest. I think that Johnny's going to make my lineup. I think there's just too much value there.
There we go. Guys, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. You're going to unlock literally everything, including our DraftKings Insight, bets, picks, the DraftKings Optimizer, and so much more. But for free, if you go to WeWantPicks.com, you're going to see an Enter Your Picks button right at the top. It's free. You just enter your picks, and if you pick a whole card correctly, it's free and to enter. You don't need to be a premium member. If you enter all your picks and you get it correct, we send you $100. It's a fun little contest. Nobody's done it yet. Actually, one person did it, but he entered like 15 lineups, or 15 different one time. You can vote one time for your picks, but it's free, costs nothing. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. Big green button right smack at the top that says Enter Your Picks. And if you get them correctly, $100. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike Imperial.